the Constitution. Today's chapter is the Indian Constitution. My dear students, we all know that. I think you all watch games. So you all know football. You all know cricket. What are all these? These all are the games. As the name suggests, football. The ball has to be played by foot. So when you are playing the football, if someone comes and catches the ball, except the goalkeeper, is he playing the right condition of the ball? Is he supposed to catch the ball? No, he is not supposed to catch the ball. So what he is supposed to do? He is supposed to kick the ball with his foot. Only the goalkeeper is allowed to catch the ball. So then he will be given a penalty shot. In the similar way, when it comes to cricket, in cricket, they have to beat the ball with the bat, and the team which is fielding will be catching the ball with their hands. The batsman never catches the ball with his hand or can play or do something with his hands. He has to bat with the bat and he has to beat the ball with the bat only. Earlier in the cricket, they used to have rules like they used to play by the ball coming on the ground, and they used to have a bat similar to that of hockey bat, where they used to have a cone shaped upwards so that the edge would get connected when the ball is drowned down. So when the rules change, the system and the style also changes. Cricket now, you don't find anyone throwing the ball under the arms. Now they throw the ball around in the air, around swinging their arms. Like this, every game has a specific rules and regulations. In the similar way, in the modern day societies, we find different groups of people living together, different tribes of people living together, different language spoken people living together. So when all these people are living together, we need to have certain common rules and regulations in place. The book which contains all the basic rules and regulations is known as Constitution. Today, we will discuss about the Indian Constitutions and its features. You all might have studied what is the definition of the Constitution. Did you all study? Yes, you all might have studied. I think you all know. I believe you all know the definition of Constitution. That is a set of rules which are to be followed in that country are prescribed in that book. That book is known as Constitution. So when it comes to the finding of how the Constitution has been written, who has framed the Constitution, what is the necessity to have a Constitution, as you are coming to class 8, so now it is very, very important for you to know certain terms which are used in the Constitution. In this unit, we will be using certain terms which you might have heard before but have different meaning. How is it possible? Because now you are going into the actual depth of the subject, where exactly you are going to understand what is the meaning of that word according to the Constitution framers and not according to the dictionary. So when it comes to the secularism, giving all religions equal importance, that's what the general definition what you get. But when it comes to a secularism, the state would not have an official religion is called a secular state. The country which follows this rule is known as a secularistic country. This is known as secularism. So like this, you will have two different meanings. In this chapter, you will find many new words which will give you the exact meaning what the constitutional framers used for the purpose in the Constitution. Now let us try to go in details, what is the need for us to have a constitution? Now, we will see why do we need a constitution? This is the fundamental question. We all know what is a constitution. A constitution is a book in which all the rules are prescribed. So, why do we need the rules have to be prescribed? That's what we will try to understand. First, nowadays you can look around the world from the 20th century, 21st century, many countries are turning to be democratic countries. So many of the countries are now having constitutions. So it is not necessary that all the democratic countries do necessarily have a constitution, or all the countries which have a constitution do not necessarily be a democratic country. So some countries are democratic and they have constitution. Some countries are not democratic but still they have their own constitutions in place. Now, either it is a democratic country or it is a non-democratic country, it is a monarchic rule of country, whatever may be the governing style or the government setup. Why do we need a constitution then? Is it prescribing the way the government should work, or is it prescribing for the people to behave? Why a book with rules has to be in place? To answer this question, we need to look at the necessity or the need of the constitution. Means you have to understand the basic purpose of the constitution. As many countries today are democratic but not the constitutionally run countries. Many countries run their constitutions but don't follow democratic ideals. As the 21st century is, the democratic turnout has been more in the countries when we look around. After the Second World War, from 1950s, 60s, 80s, many countries are turning more to be democratic. A huge uprising has been happening against the monarchic or the old regime of rules which were continued from many centuries. Now moving on further, what does a constitution do? The constitution gives us the ideals which aspire the citizens to lead their life. For example, Indian freedom movement, Gandhiji led from the front the Indian freedom movement struggle. He followed the principle of ahimsa. He followed the principle of non-violence. These ideals are known only to the people, those who participated in the freedom movement. So in order to continue the legacy of these principles and the ideals which the forefathers who fought for the freedom of the nation, so they want this to be continued, and they should not have any difficulty in understanding what is the meaning of this. They should also know why exactly these ideals are important. That is the reason why these ideals are brought into place in the constitutions of the countries. Then, a fundamental nature of the society. If you look at the society now, we find many different groups or many different societies living together harmoniously. How this has been happened? You at one side look at people fighting on the name of the religion, fighting on the name of the caste, fighting on the name of the race. Other side you find countries where people live harmoniously. One side you find people fighting on the name of the language. The other side you find three different language people living together harmoniously with meaningful adjustments. How these all are possible? Because the society itself has got transformed in such a way that different groups of people living together in a particular place, in a city, in a town, has become a common phenomena of the 21st century. Maybe because the need to find some livelihood, or the rural and the urban migration, whatever may be the reason. Now we find people from different regions coming and staying together. ultimately because of globalization. Today the entire world is like a global village. So it's a common thing that we find people from different corners staying together at a particular place. Moving on. So what does the constitution do? The constitution sets up a set of rules. A set of rules which are agreed by all of them. There can be differences of opinions on certain issues. For example, your friend may like a particular cricket star or a film star. You may not like the same particular film star or a cricketer or somebody else. But it's not necessary that you both should have a similar like. You can differ on your views on certain aspects. But when it comes to the basic requirements, equality, there should be certain rules in place where everybody accepts that and every country follows that. At least that country should uphold the country's constitution. What we are talking, that country should uphold the ideals, the inspirations, the sets of the rules which are written in the constitution should be upheld by the government. The government, for example, a political party which comes to power may have a different view on a particular aspect, but has to agree to the rules and regulations and abide to the rules and regulations which are given in the constitution of the country. Recently in the Sista Nivedita case which has been given, Sista's case, the government may have a different view or the citizen may have a different view. It is a duty of the government to ensure and give the right to speak for them, to express their views. It doesn't mean that they are criticizing the government. They may have a different view on the policy of what the government has tabled, and it is the citizens have every right to discuss about the policies of the government. Whether the government likes it or doesn't like it, citizens have the right, and government has to ensure that no one hurts or harms the rights of the citizens. Recently, the Mumbai High Court has given judgment in the favor of the citizens only. So like this, in the modern day, when there is 120% chances of people from different regions coming together and staying at a particular place and living a life, so there a certain rules have to be in place where everybody has to follow to certain rules, and they can have differences of opinion, but they have common agreement on certain rules and regulations. What is the need for us to have the common set of rules and regulations which have to be agreed by all of us, though you may differ on a particular issue and stand opposite to each other when you are discussing a particular topic? What is the necessity of this?